Spoilers ahead. Hello, welcome back to I Am Movies. The movie begins with a secret agent named Nathan meeting his senior officer, Addy. Addy informs Nathan that a few days ago, a group of Ukrainian mobsters stole a mysterious device from a laboratory, and Nathan suspects he might be involved. It's possible a powerful organization is behind this theft, so Nathan shares this with Addy, who approves the formation of a team to investigate. Nathan introduces Orson, a super spy, to the team. Addy initially has reservations about Orson but ultimately agrees to include him. Nathan is confident he can manage Orson effectively. The team also includes Sarah, a skilled hacker, and JJ, a codebreaker. The next day, Nathan gathers the team and explains their first mission. They need to gather crucial information. The team heads to a shopping mall where a Liberty scientist is expected to arrive. Inside the scientist's bag, there is a vital hard disk that Nathan's team needs to retrieve. In the same mall, as a girl approaches the scientist, some individuals suddenly render her unconscious. Sarah, monitoring the situation through a camera, alerts the team. Meanwhile, a group of people also confronts Orson. Sarah informs him about the approaching threat, and Orson takes them on, incapacitating one of them in a fight. Afterward, as Orson exits the scene, he spots the scientist being held captive by some thugs. Orson engages in a fierce confrontation with these attackers and manages to escape with the scientist in a truck. However, the scientist succumbs to panic and dies during the truck ride. By this time, Nathan had successfully copied the contents of the hard disk, but their truck is surrounded by Ukrainian gang members. One of the mobsters named Mike retrieves the hard disk from them, but surprisingly leaves without harming anyone. Unbeknownst to them, Nathan had already made a copy of the hard disk's data. With this information, the team discovers the involvement of a businessman named Greg in the ongoing events. The team decides to head to Los Angeles in pursuit of Greg.
Some time, so we'll be arriving into LA in less than 4 hours.
Orson questions Nathan about their destination, and Sarah reveals that they need the assistance of Danny, an actor. It turns out that Greg is a huge fan of Danny and enjoys his company. By using Danny's connection, they hope to have an easier time locating and apprehending Greg. The following day, Sarah outlines her plan to Orson, explaining that they will pose as Danny's new manager and girlfriend. Orson then boards Danny's private plane without permission, which agitates Danny. Orson questions Danny's patriotism and emphasizes the importance of helping their country. Initially hesitant, Danny eventually agrees to join their mission when Orson applies pressure. The following day, the team attends a party where they anticipate meeting Greg. However, Danny is apprehensive about the situation. Sarah and Orson reassure him that he only needs to play his role, promising to ensure his safety. They enter the party, with Nathan discreetly watching from a distance to provide backup if needed. Inside the party, Greg is engaged in a conversation with his two investors. Upon spotting Danny, Greg's face lights up with delight. Danny proceeds to introduce Orson and Sarah as his manager and girlfriend, respectively. Greg, eager to impress his investor, introduces Danny to the individual who holds the key to a significant business deal. Danny, in turn, lavishes praise upon Orson, claiming that he has substantially multiplied Greg's investment.
My business manager, Charlie Rosewood.
Sarah discreetly follows Greg's assistant, managing to plant a bug in one of the rooms. Upon her return, she engages in conversation with Danny and Greg, maintaining the illusion of being an innocent bystander. Greg extends an invitation to Danny and Sarah, inviting them to his villa in Turkey for a meeting with Ukrainian clients. As Ukrainian friends arrive at the party, they excitedly take selfies with Danny. Sometime later, Orson arrives at the villa and joins Danny and Sarah. Danny confides in Orson, sharing his initial fear and subsequent sense of unease about the situation. With the help of the device Sarah installed, Nathan begins narrating the details of Greg's meeting. Greg informs his Ukrainian friend Pablo that he is prepared to pay $10 million for a certain task. Pablo agrees to the deal, sealing the transaction. Following this revelation, Nathan's team discusses the importance of discovering the true value of the $10 million. As night falls, Orson sneaks into Pablo's house. He releases sleeping gas into the air conditioning system, causing everyone inside to fall into a deep slumber. Donning a mask, Orson gains entry into the house, copying valuable jewelry and critical data from Pablo's computer before returning it to its original place. During his exit, Orson encounters two guards who attempt to apprehend him. A fierce fight ensues, allowing Orson to narrowly escape their grasp, ensuring the success of their covert operation. The following day, Mike informs Greg about the theft at Pablo's house. Mike believes that only the jewelry was stolen, and everything else remains intact, so their planned deal can proceed without any hitches. Greg is relieved by this news and appears confident in the continuation of their agreement. Meanwhile, Sarah updates Nathan, explaining that she didn't find any particularly valuable clues on Pablo's computer. She suggests that their next move should be to head to Turkey,
Talia, Turkey, gobble gobble.
where a significant deal is set to take place. Orson chimes in, agreeing with Sarah and emphasizing the importance of involving Danny once more in their mission. And the team must now prepare for their next move in Turkey. The next day, Danny and Sarah travel together to Turkey. Upon arriving at Greg's house, they are warmly welcomed by him. Inside the house, Danny's eyes catch a car that he admires greatly. Greg, wanting to please his guest, takes Danny out for a leisurely drive in the car. While they're away, Sarah skillfully hacks into the security cameras throughout the house. She also explores Greg's computer and discovers something crucial. To her surprise, Sarah stumbles upon a file related to a weapons deal. Realizing the significance of this discovery, she quickly sends the file to Nathan. Both Sarah and Danny are left feeling perplexed and concerned by the unexpected revelation. The mission has taken an unforeseen turn, and the team must now decipher the implications of this new information. Orson recognizes Mike, as they have crossed paths before in their line of work. Mike hands over a parcel to two individuals, and Orson decides to tail them discreetly. However, the two individuals soon catch on to Orson's surveillance and begin to threaten him. In a tense altercation, Orson turns the tables and starts to physically confront them. During the struggle, one of the men collapses and dies. Having wrested the parcel from the now deceased men, Orson rendezvous with JJ in a car. JJ proceeds to extract information from the contents of the parcel. To their shock, they uncover a startling revelation. Scientists Pablo and Greg plan to collaborate on the creation of a nuclear weapon, which they intend to sell, codenamed The Handle,
Confirming it is the handle.
for a staggering sum of $10 million. This ominous deal was set to occur between Greg and the Ukrainian mobsters, with Orson unknowingly slated to finalize the transaction, a role he eliminated by eliminating the two men. The next day, disguised as one of Greg's associates, Orson meets with Mike to carry out the deal. They travel to a remote, hilly location where Mike instructs Orson to initiate the money transfer. Orson makes a phone call to Greg during this crucial moment. In this call, Sarah skillfully alters Orson's voice to mimic that of one of Greg's men. Greg, believing he's speaking with one of his own associates, proceeds to transfer the hefty sum of $10 million as part of the deal. However, shortly thereafter, Greg's men become aware that their security system has been compromised. They realize that someone has hacked into their systems, potentially jeopardizing the entire operation. Sarah, realizing the danger, makes a quick escape to avoid being caught by Mike's men as they close in on her. On the other side, Pablo's guards spot Orson and recognize him as the thief who had previously infiltrated Pablo's house. JJ observes this unfolding situation through his spy equipment. As the guards move in to eliminate Orson, JJ intervenes, opening fire on them to protect Orson. A firefight ensues, with Orson joining JJ in the battle. Despite the fierce exchange of gunfire, some of the Ukrainian mobsters manage to escape the scene. Simultaneously, Greg becomes aware that his assistant, Casa, is growing suspicious of Danny and Sarah's presence and activities. While Danny and Sarah make their escape in Greg's car, Sarah contacts Nathan for assistance. Greg's henchmen pursue them relentlessly. Sarah fires at their pursuers, causing one of the cars to veer off the road and into a ditch. Just as they exit a tunnel, Orson arrives in a helicopter, and he detonates explosives to block the tunnel's entrance. With everyone safely aboard the helicopter, Nathan instructs Orson that it's time to confront Greg. Upon hearing this, Danny insists on accompanying Orson, and Orson agrees. The helicopter lands at Greg's villa, and Orson heads inside to meet Greg. Greg demands an explanation for these events and questions why Orson exploited Danny. He accuses Orson of stealing his $10 million, setting the stage for a tense confrontation between the two adversaries. Sarah confronts Greg, revealing that the $10 million was not given to them, but to the Ukrainian mobsters, and that she has evidence of his collaboration with them. Greg seems genuinely surprised by this revelation, claiming ignorance about the mobsters' involvement. Meanwhile, Greg's investors, Trent and Arnold, introduce him to a new client, presenting a satellite project. Greg, now wanting his money back, becomes increasingly aware that Mike has gone rogue and is operating independently. Danny proposes a plan in which Greg will have to play a pivotal role. Initially, Greg finds the idea amusing and bursts into laughter. Eventually, he agrees to cooperate with the team, recognizing the gravity of the situation. Sarah, armed with all the information she has gathered, heads to the location where the nuclear blast was intended to occur. Meanwhile, Danny and Greg meet with the investors in their office. To their shock, they discover that Mike, Trent, and Arnold are controlling the satellite capable of causing the catastrophic blast. Simultaneously, Orson embarks on a solitary mission to the satellite tower, armed with a gun. He eliminates anyone who crosses his path. On another front, JJ provides sniper support, methodically taking out the mobsters one by one. Together, JJ and Orson systematically eliminate the threats and work to prevent the impending disaster. As the situation intensifies, Trent and Arnold reveal their sinister plan to Greg. They intend to trigger a global financial collapse, and they want to frame Greg for it because the money used to finance the operation came from his accounts. Greg responds by proclaiming his unwavering patriotism. However, Greg informs Trent and Arnold that all the towers they plan to use for the financial collapse have already been destroyed. Orson takes action, detonating the remaining towers. In response, Greg threatens to unleash destruction on their own towers, but he imposes a strict 10-minute deadline for the return of his money. Faced with this ultimatum, Trent and Arnold rush to the door, transferring Greg's money back into his account. Meanwhile, Orson proceeds to enter the tower, dispatching all guards in his path. Upon reaching the top, Orson discovers a gruesome scene. In their haste to return the money, Trent, Arnold, and their accomplices turned on each other, resulting in a fatal shootout. After a while, as Orson retrieves the handle's bag, Mike launches a surprise attack from behind. Orson reacts swiftly, eliminating Mike on the spot. Upon descending from the tower, Sarah and JJ make their exit, and the next day they deliver the handle's bag to Nathan. The team has successfully thwarted a catastrophic financial disaster and neutralized the threat posed by those who sought to cause it. In Doha, Qatar, the team is presented with another job opportunity, but they collectively decide to take a well-deserved vacation instead. Orson reveals that he has used the funds obtained from the heist at the Ukrainian's villa to finance Danny's new film. The film is based on the team's recent escapades, with Danny playing the role of Greg, and interestingly, Greg himself participating as an on-set producer. And the movie ends here. Thank you for supporting my small channel. Please like and share this video to help this channel out. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next one.